Do you want to make sure that your backstage team feels really loved, appreciated, and taken care of? Hi, this is Shannon Waller, and welcome to the Team Success Podcast. One of the biggest challenges for teams, especially people who are in what we call your backstage, your accounting team, your tech team, the people who don't really interact with your clientele or your customers, is often they can feel really underappreciated, not seen, and therefore they kind of feel not cared for. Now, if I were to talk to some of the more front-facing team members, could be sales, could be your service team, whatever, they're like, oh no, our backstage is amazing, our team is great, I love how accounting works with me, but they're not telling the team that. So one insight I had quite recently in working with a team and having this conversation with some team leaders was that front stage people, and we like to use that analogy, by the way, of looking at a business in terms of front stage and backstage, because it kind of is like a theater production. We're trying to produce magic on our front stage, and we want our backstage to stay behind the curtain. One thing you do not want to do is have your backstage showing. And people on the front stage often get all of their acknowledgement and appreciation from the audience. You know, people are clapping. They're like, yay, way to go. Love that. Thanks for the input. Thanks for the feedback. You know, love the conversation. You've made such a big difference for me. So for those of us, myself included, I get all the appreciation that I need, that I want to know whether or not I'm doing a good job, not from our team, not from anyone in the company, but actually from our clients and our listeners, from you. So I don't need a lot from backstage. But if you think about it, how does your backstage team feel acknowledged? Well, guess what? From you. How they feel cared about, how they feel known and appreciated is because you are in fact their audience. You're the one that they're serving. You're the one that they're paying attention to. So it's really important for those of us that get our kudos from the front stage, from our clients, our customers, however you call your front stage audience, to recognize that we are in fact the audience for other people. And we need to turn around and go, yay, I really appreciate the work that you did. It made such a difference to have this invoice be so accurate and on time. I love the fact that you were able to fix my computer problem so quickly. I really love the fact that the new dates were available and up on the website and current. I know it was a last minute push. Thank you for shipping the materials overnight and making sure that they got there on time. Thank you for making sure that they were in good shape when they got there. All of those things. These are certain things that happen in my life. And letting people know how much you appreciate their effort and not taking it for granted. So it's critical that we recognize that and to take time in our day. Could be a phone call, could be an email, could be a text, could be in the hallway. Say, hey, you know what? That really made a difference. And I cannot tell you what a difference that makes to people. So if you really want to boost the enthusiasm and the morale of your backstage team, then this is what to educate your front stage team is that they need to do. Now, there's another little bit of a personality difference that I've noticed that happens between front stage teams and backstage teams that I think is important, especially when it comes to acknowledgement. So a lot of people on the front stage, again, salespeople, customer service, are used to recognition, often in the form of words. Applause is really good. They don't mind public recognition. You know, if something gets blasted over the intranet, it's like, oh, you know, these number of clients all said that John was doing an amazing job. You show up in front of clients and people actually clap for you. That's great. A lot of people are quite comfortable with that. Your backstage team, as a general statement, this is not specific in every case, but it's a good ground rule, really don't feel comfortable being up on stage. They don't really love applause. They hate being dragged to the front in those recognition ceremonies and given a plaque in front of everyone. They just want to crawl out of their skin. And by the way, they've told me this. This is how I know. So you may be wondering, well, they don't seem to like getting appreciation the same way I do. What do I do? How do I have them feel appreciated and cared for and supported in what they do every day? Because a lot of times it's hard work and stuff that we wouldn't want to be doing, but they're quite talented and skilled at it and enjoy their work. But that's not enough. Knowing that your audience really appreciates what you're giving them, no matter how much satisfaction you get from the work, is really important. You know this for you, and it's true for everybody. So in general, not in specifics, but in general, people on the backstage tend to be a little bit more reserved. They're very efficient. They get stuff done, but they're a little bit more cautious could be a word. You know, if you're familiar with DISC, could be supportive, but they're on that reserved kind of even paced side of things. So what do they like? Well, what I've learned, and this is from asking, is that what really makes a difference is personal, individual acknowledgments, often in the form of a handwritten note. Yes, those are still a thing. And if you don't know cursive anymore, printing is fine. Or a really personal gift. So if you happen to know or can find out, be resourceful, that the person from accounting who made sure that this problem is solved for your client loves to go out for dinner with his or her spouse to a particular restaurant, get them a gift certificate to that restaurant. Or a handwritten note saying, hey, this really made a difference. I had a situation where I had one of our team members ship out the book that I was giving as a client gift to some of my top 20 Farm Club clients. That's my top clients. And because Amazon was sold out of this particular book, now if you're curious what book it is, it's called No Ego by Cy Wakeman. You'll hear more about her because I'm going to be interviewing her shortly, which I'm very excited about. But I really, really, really wanted to get this book out, and Amazon was sold out. It's like, uh-oh. So I called their company and I figured out how to get them to our office. And then my team member, Vince, is the one who sent them out. And he did it, though, like a couple days before Christmas. This was a little crunchy. Now, we provided all the information to make it easier, but still, he didn't really need that on his plate right before a shutdown. But I'm like, Vince, I want to do something for you. So anyway, I figured out what to do. And when I saw him last week, I said, Vince, I had a friend actually help me because I'm from Toronto, so I was traveling to Chicago. I'm like, Vince, here's a gift certificate to Home Depot because I know that he's into home stuff. He shared that with me and he's expanding his family, so that's super exciting. So, this was really meaningful for him because he's very different than I am. Big, burly guy. I'm like, what would a guy want? And I didn't necessarily want to go buy beer. So in this case, it was a Home Depot gift certificate, and he was so appreciative, and it felt so great to let him know how much I appreciated his help. I also forwarded him a client thank you about how the book had impacted him, how he'd ordered copies for his team leaders. So I let him know that his extra effort really paid off both for me and for someone who received the book. And I just really wanted him to know what a difference his particular actions had made and not just take them for granted. It was really fun, but I was very conscious, partly because I knew I'd be talking about this. I was really conscious, okay, how can I reward the people who are supporting me? And I'm pretty clear after all these years that I would not be where I am. There's no way I could do what I do. I couldn't even do this podcast without a heck of a lot of help. So I really appreciate when people contribute to me, and I like to express it as much as possible. It's one of those things where, you could always do better, but I try to really express my appreciation. It is not fun for anyone, you on the front stage, if that's where you are, or on the backstage, to feel taken for granted. Now, the work itself is satisfying, sure, but to know that the people you're providing a service for appreciate it, use it, take it to heart, it's made a positive impact. All of us, the human desire is to have a positive impact on other people, to make a difference. So when you communicate that to other people, they feel that, they feel good, they know that what they're doing is meaningful, it's on purpose, it's in alignment with what the company is up to. So the main point I want you to walk away with today is that people on the front stage are in fact the audience for your backstage team. And please educate your front stage team that they need to turn around and give a quieter round of applause in the form of something handwritten or personal note to the backstage team, and then watch the backstage team just glow. Watch them light up. Watch them go, wow, thanks. I appreciate that. If they're quieter, it won't be loud necessarily, unless you have a unique backstage team, and there are those. But really work at celebrating that and make a fuss over the people, quietly, who really make things work, and don't take them for granted. I'm all about having every team member know that they are contributing their best and to feel like they matter and to know that what they're doing, specifically how it impacts other people. And the more you do that, what you reward increases. What you recognize increases. So if you want more from your team, and by the way, I don't recommend doing this as a strategy, but it is a byproduct, you will see more of those behaviors that you appreciate. What we appreciate rises in value. So people go, oh, that's what makes a difference. If you start taking their work for granted, they'll start taking their work for granted and won't put the time and attention to detail and the conscientiousness that you're looking for. All of a sudden, you're like, what's wrong with this team? They're not doing as good a job as they used to. Well, have you told them that it mattered? Have you let them know whether or not the level of conscientiousness that they bring to their work actually makes a difference? Well, if not, there's some work to do. And if you do already, good for you, because I know that backstage teams, when they're well looked after and appreciated pull off miracles. What people can do that I can't, I'm in awe of. And I really appreciate when people contribute their talents so that we can deliver a phenomenal experience for our clients and our listeners. So make sure that you do the same. But that's that little mindset shift to remember sometimes to turn around, not just appreciate the feedback that you get front stage, but also to make sure that you turn around and give a round of quiet applause to the people on your backstage. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this has inspired you and given you a new perspective on how to have great teamwork. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know at questions@strategiccoach.com. And as always, here's to your team success. Is there someone in your life or in your network who could really benefit from what you've learned today? If so, why not share this episode with them? You could be a hero to them, help them improve their teamwork, experience team success just by tapping share.